Hey everyone, in today's writing we'll talk about compare and contrast report. Well, how to write compare and contrast report. As the name suggests, compare means finding similarities between two things. Well, and contrast means finding differences between two things. Well, in compare and contrast report, you are required to write a report about two things, two statistical data or two events sometimes. Well, it could be, for example, the number of students who were studying in Oregon State University in 2010 and 2020. Between 10 years, the change or difference between 10 years. For example, in 2010, in Oregon State University, for example, 10,000 students were studying. And in 2020, the number reached maybe 15,000 or 20,000 students. And so you need to write a report about them, about the differences. Yeah. And well, it's not always about one thing at two different times. Sometimes you're asked to write about two different things at one time, at the same time. Or sometimes you're asked about two different things at two different times. And today we will talk about it. Okay, and well, we will also talk about outline. What is outline? Outline is something you make before you start your essay. Actually, there are a number of things that you need to do before you start your essay, start writing your essay. One of them is brainstorming. Well, brainstorming is just putting on paper anything that comes to your mind. So any thought, any kind of thought, whether it is logical or not, just writing them down, all of them. It will help you to dig your brain deeper and plug the information that was underneath your brain. It will help you to shuffle your brain, to shuffle and to mix your brain. It will help you a lot. Brainstorming. And another thing that you need to do before writing essay is called essay planning. We will talk about it later too. And the third one is called outline. Well, outline is picking out the information, picking out the pieces of information that you are planning to write about. Before you start writing, you need to pick out the most important information, the most interesting ones uh, that will captivate the reader, that will grip the attention of the reader. This process is called outlining. Well, you need to create an outline first in report essay. Yeah, advisably. And here you can see outline here. Outline has introduction, just like an essay. Introduction, body, and conclusion. Well, in outline, for example, you ask yourself what I will write about in introduction. What it is better if I write about introduction. Yeah, and then what comes to your mind, you will write them. And you will just write them in your outline. Or you just write in your own language. Maybe in contractions, with the contractions. Well, for example, in 2020, the number of students who were studying at Oregon State University increased significantly, and you want to write about it. So there is tons of information if you want to write about it. It may take maybe 5 pages or 10 pages, but you cannot write such a long essay, right? Your essay must be organized and not too long. Well, in this process, outline will help you a lot. First, it's advised to make an outline, to create an outline. well, in the outline, you will just, as I said already, select the most important pieces of information, the major events, and then it will be easy for you to write your essay, because you will just copy what is written on the outline. You will just copy them, but not directly, by adding some other sentences, by enriching it, by developing it a little bit more. Well, how to write an outline? Well, first begin with an introduction. Here you can see the introduction. Outline has introduction too. Here you're asked to write about, well, add the information in the box to the outline of an essay comparing the effects of the 1994 and 2010 FIFA World Cup. Well, as you know, every 4 years FIFA World Cup takes place, and in 1994 it was held in the US, and in 2010 it took place in South Africa, and you are asked to compare and contrast them. So in this case, 2 different countries and 2 different times, right? And it's a bit complicated. Here, well, background. Look at the introduction. Background of World Cup has earned billions and transformed nations. In 1994, World Cup in US. 2010 World Cup in South America. So it's good. It's suitable for introduction, this kind of information. Main idea. 1994 World Cup made football popular in the US, while 2010 World Cup brought prestige to South Africa. Well, good. This introduction. And what is background? What is main idea? What is main idea? Let's look at this first. Well, begin with an introduction. This paragraph should state the essay's main idea. So the essay's main idea is about how the World Cup contributed to the development of those countries where it was held. So this is the main idea of the essay, and so in the introduction, the main idea is written. So I will reiterate. 1994 World Cup made football popular in the US, while 2020 World Cup brought prestige to South Africa. So it's almost the same. And so this is introduction. I will repeat that this paragraph should state the essay's main idea. Now think of arguments that explain, support, or develop your idea. Which arguments explain, support, develop your idea? Think about it. Make each argument a separate section in your outline. In this one, how many arguments? 2 arguments, 1 and 2. So first argument is World Cup's impact on popularity of football. So this paragraph is only about how the World Cup influenced the popularity of football. Of course, it is influencing a lot. And the second argument here, the third paragraph, World Cup's impact on the prestige of the host country. So in the second paragraph, you will write about how World Cup contributed to the popularity of football. And in the third paragraph, you will write about how World Cup contributed to the popularity of the host country. Not the football, but the host country. Well, so overall, two arguments. Argument 1, the popularity of football, and the argument 2 is the popularity of the host country. You'll write about so 2 arguments, and below the arguments, details, supporting sentences, reasons are given. So you should write them too in your outline. The third one, organize your points. Here, for each argument, think of details, examples, and reasons that support the arguments, and write these points underneath the arguments they support. Organize your points. Finish one argument or idea before beginning the next one. So you need to organize your points. Yeah, that's true. Like here. So two different paragraphs, right? You cannot write them together. You cannot mix them. You have to organize them. You have to write two different arguments as two different paragraphs. You cannot just write them in outline, because outline is the skeleton of your essay, and you cannot distort, you cannot disfigure your skeleton. It's very important. And end with a conclusion that restates your main idea and arguments. Here, let's look at this. Yeah, today more youth football teams than baseball teams in US. It's about the essay itself, not about the outline. It's more about the essay itself. Okay, so here in short, quickly, we just reviewed. We just had a look at how to create an outline. You can read it independently. One or two times. It will help you. And here you need to add these informations A to F to the outline, which is here. You can see here spaces, blanks, and you need to place those information in the blanks. And now you are asked to write a report. What kind of report? Here we will find out together. Imagine your country has asked you to recommend whether it should host the World Cup or another major event, such as the Olympics or a World Expo. So imagine your president has asked you to give your opinion, to give your advice or recommendation, whether it should host the World Cup or another major event, such as the World Olympics or the World Expo. So you're going to write a report comparing the effect that this event has had on two previous host countries. Recommend whether your country should host the event. Well, yes, I agree, it's a bit tough. Well, you need to express your opinion, your idea about it.